POV, it's late 2017 and you're at your parents' house for winter break, playing Fortnite on your 2013 Xbox One. It's a top 5 situation and you and the homies clutch out the win. The crowd goes wild as you post a sweet victory royale on your Snapchat story for all the ladies to drool over.
50!
Fast forward to today and we have a lot more BRs to come since then, some being better than others. But let's take a trip down memory lane before we assess the current Battle Royale meta. This would take us all the way back to H1Z1 King of the Kill, which released in January of 2015. Now I personally never played this game, as most people watching this probably didn't either. I think the reasons for that being was 1, Battle Royales weren't all that popular at the time, and 2, it wouldn't get a console release until 2018, limiting the accessibility of the game tremendously. Also, not to mention 2018 was well after this game's life cycle. The game acted as a blueprint for battle royales to come, with vehicles, looting for best possible weaponry, and a shrinking circle pressuring the players to fight each other. You could also argue many big Twitch streamers such as Summit1G, Ninja, and Dr. Disrespect made their names on this game, with countless clips to show for it.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Moving forward in the timeline brings us to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This game I personally played a lot of back in the day, and I found it to be a more realistic and bare bones version of H1Z1 at a glance. Basically, H1Z1 walked so PUBG could run. A few years after its release, the game suffered an identity crisis with adding a bunch of new maps that no one really asked for. Unfortunately, over the years, this game has become something it's not, with a lot of unnecessary additions and a lack of TLC from developers. Which now we arrive at the behemoth that is Fortnite. Technically only releasing a few months after PUBG, the big question of the time was always Fortnite, and the answer always resulted into two separate armies of virgins sharpening their pitchforks and ready to lay down their lives over which one was better. It's no secret that Fortnite took the world by storm, and I think it had a couple of attributes that were way ahead of its time. One was being a true free-to-play experience with no effect on the raw gameplay if you had never spent a dime, unlike a lot of other free-to-play games. And 2, there was a full cross-play experience which was enabled only a few months after its release, which no other dev team was doing at the time, allowing players to play with any of their friends despite which platform they were on. On a side note, I truly think Fortnite is responsible for most games being cross-play today. And lastly, they have stuck their dick in every IP imaginable and always finding their way into whatever relevant pop culture phenomenon is going on currently, with a few exceptions. While it's seen a lot of changes over the years, I think that's part of the reason why it stays so relevant, because just as the game is getting stale, they seem to be adding some random ass bullshit to keep the game interesting, meaning it's receiving the maintenance an online game needs to survive. After the craze of Fortnite, there would be an exponential increase in the amount of BR games because every dev just wanted to cash in on the Battle Royale craze. A lot of these would result in shovelware such as Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, Creative Destruction, Ring of Elysium, Radical Heights, and Realm Royale, which actually maintained a cult following through the years. Anyways, through all this redundance, the next relevant BR would be when we caught a taste of Call of Duty's first step into the Battle Royale arena with Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout. While doing nothing really different to stand out, the game to me wasn't really all that fun. I think Black Ops 4 in general wasn't all that good, and it seems Treyarch couldn't make up their minds as to which facet of the game they wanted to focus on between multiplayer, zombies, and Blackout. In my opinion, Blackout is an extremely forgettable chapter in the book of Battle Royale. Moving into February 2019, we would see Respawn's Apex Legends. What always baffled me about this game was its surprise release. Respawn essentially said, hey, here's a new Battle Royale game. By the way, we also launched it today and it's not a buggy piece of shit on day one. This game quickly rose to the top and was seen as the Fortnite killer for a while, with a unique take on the genre, essentially being a hero shooter battle royale. It's also one of those games where if you're the better player, you're probably going to beat whoever you're dueling, which is hard to say about other battle royales. The only other game I would say this is sometimes true with is Fortnite, because if you're a master builder, you're probably going to get out of any situation you're in. Another groundbreaking feature Apex had was that it was the first game to bring back dead teammates, if I'm not mistaken, which every battle royale since has implemented this feature, and I'm pretty sure Fortnite added that feature just like a month or two after Apex's release. Apex being free to play as well does it a little differently, whereas if you want to have all the legends unlocked, you're gonna have to throw a decent amount of cash in true EA fashion. Just one thing I was never crazy about. Just 1 month later, DICE would launch Battlefield's Battle Royale Firestorm, which was honestly a good idea on paper, but simply incomplete and irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Then only a few months later, Bethesda dipped their toes in the Battle Royale space with a Fallout 76 Battle Royale. I mean, I truly don't think a single person asked for this. Then a whole year after Apex's launch, we got another heavy hitter in the BR conversation, which would be Call of Duty Warzone. Warzone pretty much took all the bad things about Blackout and fixed them while implementing new ideas such as loadouts and the money system, which is my favorite method of looting and upgrading in any Battle Royale. Not to mention, I think Verdansk is probably one of, if not the best Battle Royale map of all time. The addition of Resurgence was also a really nice feature for a fast-paced experience with more forgiveness on another very beloved map. Although it's not a traditional Battle Royale and more like a team deathmatch Battle Royale, it became the game's focal point after the removal of Verdansk and the addition of Caldera. Through its lifespan, Infinity Ward would ultimately kill its own game to pretty much force people to play Warzone 2 by getting rid of Resurgence altogether, which was the only mode people liked at the time. And now we're on to our most recent installment, which is Warzone 2. I actually really like Warzone 2, even though I know it's not perfect. Far from it, actually. With a lot of fundamentally different changes from Warzone 1, I don't think they're all necessarily bad. I think the unorthodox method of getting people to play Warzone 2 is silly, but it seems like through the recent updates to this game, Infinity Ward is somewhat listening to their community. With the addition of Resurgence, one-shot snipers, movement buffs, and health increases to reward more skilled players, for example. Not to mention, I think Al Mazrah is yet another amazing launch map for the Warzone franchise. I figured we'd end this video with a little bit of a tier list that I threw together, and this is more so measuring how relevant these games are today, not how good they once were, but all in today's eyes. Starting off the list, we have Hunt Showdown. I know we didn't even talk about this in the video, but I think this game's pretty important for Battle Royale players. It's not even a Battle Royale, that's why I'm putting it that doesn't count, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. If you like Battle Royales, it's definitely worth checking out. And now we have Realm Royale, which in my opinion started off dying and ended up being dead within a couple years. It had a decent run. It was like a nice attempt, but definitely not worth playing. And now we have PUBG. I want to put this at dying. It's not quite dead. I would almost put it at dead, but the only reason I'm not is for two reasons. One being this game is ginormous in Asia, and two, PUBG Mobile is actually a really good mobile game. Probably the best mobile Battle Royale experience. Fallout 76 going straight to dead. This game never should have been made. Complete mistake. If you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. H1Z1 Battle Royale. This one really pains me. Again, I never even played this game, but this game is deader than shit. Super important for the Battle Royale genre, but again, just no one's playing this game. There's better games that have come out since, but this game is extremely important. Blackout, definitely going into dead, obviously. This game was initially dying when it first came out, but just couldn't survive the competition. Fall Guys, another game we didn't even talk about in this video, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it's honestly really fun. It's also seen a lot of updates and just a whole lot of more content than was available upon launch. However, I don't even think this counts as Battle Royale. Just again, another one worth mentioning, but doesn't really count. Call of Duty Warzone 1. I want to put this at dead. However, I'm going to put it at dying because I think there's a lot of people who still hold on to this game. I mean, when I think of the pandemic, this is the first thing that comes to mind. I remember staying up till 5 in the morning just collecting unemployment because I was laid off and just sitting on my ass. Absolutely no lifing this game. Kind of crazy to think I have nostalgia for this game and it's barely been out 3 years. Now we're at Warzone 2, which I'm going to put it not going anywhere. I really like this game. I already expressed that in this video. You could almost argue it's dying, but I think the devs are on the right track, especially with this new Season 4 update. In my opinion, this game is god tier as far as gameplay goes, like in the whole grand scheme of things of Battle Royale, but I'm well aware that it's not actually like the best objectively. Now we have Firestorm. That goes into dead immediately. I really wish EA could churn out a decent Battle Royale game. I think it could actually work out very well with like their destructibility and whatnot. I'm honestly surprised 2042 hasn't gotten like a Battle Royale update because I think it would actually do pretty well if done correctly. So hopefully EA can redeem themselves one day. Now Apex Legends. I'm going to go ahead and put this at god tier. I think this game gets constant love. The only like gripe I really have with it is like the free to play isn't really free to play. You're going to have to spend a lot of money if you want to play as every single legend. Also, not to mention, I kind of think this game is a little unbalanced. There's usually always like a couple legends that are just totally busted that like everybody uses. But overall, I mean, it survived the test of time. It's been like 4 years and this game is still doing very well. And Fortnite also going god tier. I mean, like I said, with the free to play formula they have here, like the battle pass has just been thrown onto every fucking game of all time. Even games you have to pay for, they still have a battle pass, which is crazy. It's honestly such a genius idea and every game's adopted it since. I mean, it's just, what has it been, like 6 years? Yeah, 6 years since this game's come out and it is just still thriving and doing very, very well. It's seen its ups and downs, but it's definitely not going anywhere. But that about wraps up my video. If you all like this video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, comment if you like, and as always, thank you for watching.
I'm gonna let it